A new study confirms that insurance is officially on the decline. In fact, Medicare reimbursements have dropped over 30% in the last decades for the most common procedures. And if you own a medical practice, you've probably felt this firsthand. Sitting at your desk, staring at the numbers, wondering, how am I working harder than ever, yet somehow making less? You're busy, your team is hustling, you're more experienced than you've ever been, yet still, after treating patients, you wait 60 to 90 days for a reimbursement check. A checkup only covers 60 to 75% of what you actually billed for. And then, you pay a third party a cut of your own money. And here's the worst part. No matter how good you are, you're capped. Capped by what insurance says your expertise is worth. And unless you break out of this model, that cap will only shrink, just to collect what you were already owed. Meanwhile, rent is due, payroll is due, and overhead is rising. And you're asking yourself the same question, how am I doing more than ever and I'm doing everything right, yet I'm still behind? Well, this is exactly what we call death by 1,000 cuts, or the insurance trap. Hey, my name is Kostopoulos. I'm the CEO here at StemWave. And if you're feeling trapped inside this broken system of insurance, you're not alone. But today, I'm going to show you exactly how hundreds of clinics just like you are escaping this same model. How? By building a premium cash-based service around a brand new regenerative technology. A technology that delivers clinical outcomes like these on the very first visit. Now, here's what I've personally noticed after working with hundreds of clinics across the country. The most successful practices today, they aren't necessarily the biggest, and they're not the ones with the largest marketing budgets or the best locations either. They're the ones who have consciously made a decision to stop letting insurance dictate their income. And here's what's really holding back most clinics today, is they've convinced themselves that cash pay won't work in their area. In fact, they'll say things like, my patients are lower income, people in my area only use insurance, my market just won't pay cash prices. Does this sound familiar? Well, here's a reality. A recent published study revealed that 7 out of 10 patients would gladly pay out of pocket if they could just see results faster. Let that sink in. 70% of patients are already willing to pay cash. So the real question isn't if they'll pay, it's whether they'll pay for what you're offering. Because patients will absolutely pay premium prices, just not for slow or average results. They won't pay out of pocket for something that feels like more of the same. They'll pay cash for certainty, they'll pay cash for relief they can feel on day one, and they'll definitely pay cash for something that gives them true hope. Simply put, you need a treatment so effective you could finally charge what you're worth. Because the only way out of the insurance trap is with a cash-based modality that justifies premium pricing. That's how you break the cap. It's how you reclaim control, and it's how you finally start getting paid for what your expertise is worth. But here's the catch. Cash-based services will only work if the results are undeniable and immediate. And that's exactly what StemWave delivers. It gives your clinic something you've never had before, a premium regenerative technology that delivers visible physical improvements from the very first session. And we've seen this with hundreds of clinics who've launched StemWave, a new premium service line. And what do? Well, it's not uncommon to see $5,000 to $25,000 in new monthly collections within the first 60 days of using the technology. But more than revenue, they reclaim control. Control over their pricing, control over their time, and control over the quality of care that they deliver. Because when you're not stuck fighting the insurance system, you're finally free to build a business that rewards your skill. And here's the math that makes this so compelling. Most clinics, after reimbursement, get anywhere from $42 to $60 per visit from the insurance companies. Whereas with StemWave, providers are charging $100 to $200 per session, and each visit only takes 5 minutes. Think about that for a second. The average PT clinic spends 45 to 60 minutes with a patient and makes around, $70 an hour? But with StemWave, that same provider is making upwards of $600 per hour. It's nearly 10 times the amount per hour. And right now, there are clinics all over the country doing exactly what I'm describing. Take Dr. Michelle Zarzana in California, for example. She integrated this exact modality last year, started offering it as a standalone, out-of-pocket service, and within months, she doubled her revenue, while treating more patients and seeing better outcomes. That's what happens when you offer a solution so effective that patients can feel a real difference in the first session. And it's just one of our stories. We've helped hundreds of providers do the exact same thing. reclaim control over their time, escape the hamster wheel of volume-based care, and finally get paid what their results are actually worth. But here's the part that matters even more than the numbers. When your patients look you in the eyes with tears and say, "You're the first person who's actually been able to help me," it hits different. It reignites something. And it's no wonder why time and time again, StemWave providers say that their passion for healthcare has completely been rejuvenated. Just listen to what Dr. Neary had to say.
I have been practicing straight chiropractic in a very rural area of Pennsylvania for 20 years now. And while I love practicing chiropractic and I've been able to help thousands of people, I was very frustrated with the number of patients that I was unable to help and had to refer out for injections and surgeries and more invasive medical treatments. And I happened to stumble across the StemWave technology last year, and I did lots of research and asked thousands of questions and decided that it was something I wanted to offer in my office to help more people. And the results have far exceeded my expectations. It has been absolutely phenomenal in not only helping with the conditions that I had hoped I'd be able to help with, but it has been able to clear up things that I didn't even realize it would work for.
Now, if you're wondering how providers enroll patients into a full care plan with StemWave, it's surprisingly simple. Every StemWave clinic follows a proven strategy that we call a mapping session. Here's how it works. It's a low-cost, low-risk first visit, usually $49, and during the visit, patients actually feel the device in action. You show them exactly where the pain is coming from, and most importantly, they walk out with a visible, measurable improvement in 10 minutes or less. That session creates what we call the wow factor. It builds trust, it builds belief, and it proves on the spot that this actually works. And when you walk them through a full care plan, our providers report 70 to 80% of patients say, "Yes, I'd like to move forward." Not after thinking about it, not after talking to their spouse, but right there in the room with you. And compared to other alternatives, surgery, more drugs, or just living in pain, it's not a decision that they take lightly. So where do you go from here? Well, if you're tired of working harder for less money and frustrated with insurance dictating how your practice runs, and if you know that deep down you're capable of delivering a higher level of care, then it might be time to consider something new. So if you're interested in learning more about StemWave's technology and how it can serve as the wow factor in your clinic, go ahead and request some more information below. We'll walk you through the technology and how our no-risk offer works. And I can't wait to hear your story one day. Take care.